have a transcript tonight. Go ahead with your questions for Coach.
Fran, what does it say about the team that they got down 21-22 early on and didn't fold?
Well, I think it says a lot about the character of our team, because I think, you guys have all seen a lot of games over the years. The biggest mistake teams make in a situation like that, we always hear us say, that don't try to get it all back at once. Well, what does that mean? You start quick shooting the ball, you start taking an inordinate amount of threes, and then now they're running it back and they're dunking the ball, and all of a sudden 21 becomes 31 and you have no shot. So we just tried to press them a little, be active in our zone, and execute our offense the way we planned. Because early on, we couldn't get anything to drop. We had a couple good looks, they didn't go, and they were capitalizing. So I was just really pleased with our composure at that point.
Coach, the front court matchup was pretty big. How did your guys execute against, obviously a couple of the best, big guys in the conference?
Well, Trace is a handful. I mean, he just, and they go to him, which anybody would, right? You're going to go to him. But he's a veteran guy. He's got tremendous athletic power, size, and strength. So we wanted to play man-to-man and give some help. But then we had to go to the zone, and sometimes Philip's in there by himself. Great job by Philip, lasting as long as he did. I mean, he played 38 minutes. And so it was a great matchup with Philip and Chris and Trace and Race while he was in there.
Fran, with Philip, Connor, and Chris, you had a 6-year senior, a 5th-year senior. How big was veteran leadership during this comeback?
Well, it's really important because we had to play a lot of our young guys too tonight. I thought, what can you say about Peyton Sanford? He was phenomenal. Josh Dix was phenomenal. And DeSante was really good in the first half. Ulis was solid as always, but I thought, when they're in there at crunch time, your young guys, they have to execute. Because I took that last time out, I called the wrong play. That was on me. We only had 4 seconds. I was trying to run a quick hit, didn't work. But again, they didn't panic. I think if you look at Pat, and I said this to the team, we have probably the best defensive possession of the whole game. And they shoot a shot that barely hits the backboard, and it bounces the kid. He lays it in with half a second to go up 6. I think a lot of teams would have quit right there, and they did not. That says a lot about our team. But those guys you mentioned, they're heart and soul of the team.
Fran, you talked about Josh Dix, and he stepped up, hit probably the biggest shot of his career to date. But his defensive intelligence, as far as double teams go, as far as closing out in the corner, what can you say about playing a young guy like that, in crunch time and him executing at that level?
Well, you've heard me talk about him. I mean, he's a really good player. If anything, I look at this box score and say I need to get him more than 9 minutes. Because he never comes in and makes mistakes. He does everything right. And he plays 3 positions, and he knows 3 positions. He handles the ball, he defends, he's physical. He's a tough kid now. So you're right. I mean, his performance in the 9 minutes that he was out there was phenomenally impressive.
What's the mindset a player has? I mean, did Peyton, he knew he was probably going to have extra responsibility tonight. Does that sort of, in some strange way, free a guy up to play better?
Well, you're right. I mean, he did know he was going to play more. He practiced really well prior to this game and played with a lot of confidence. But I do think, knowing he's playing. We needed a bigger guy. We needed another scorer. We needed a versatile guy that's smart. I mean, his tip-in was huge. I mean, his buckets early when we were struggling were a big part of this victory. But, he's a guy that, typically he's not a mistake guy. So if he's hitting shots, he's really special, but he'll beat you in a lot of different ways.
Fran, what about Connor's baseball pass at the end, kind of making it up on the fly there?
Well, I thought, he did the same thing in the Big Ten
Yeah.
championship game. Probably equally important was the possession before, because remember, we were out of timeouts, so we've got to get the ball in bounds. So you can call a press offense if you want to and let the ball bounce and line up and let them get their defense set. Or you can grab the ball, throw it to Peyton, which is what you want anyway. He used to do that all the time. He would just grab and throw it to Bohannon. So that was huge. Peyton, granted, okay, we wanted Peyton to get the ball. He makes both. Then the next time, they're going to be up. They have to be up. All right, and did you see him? He just kind of went like that to Chris and just let it go. A lot of times, the inbounder in that situation is afraid to throw it. Like, I don't want to throw it away. What if I underthrow it and they steal it and they hit a 3? He just said, look, they're face guarding. We're going that way, and another savvy play by Chris. He caught it and just dribbled and let the clock run out.
Fran, I think you guys only allowed 3 offensive rebounds in the second half. Connor only had 2 rebounds on the night, but you guys still out-rebounded Indiana. What's that say about the rest of your guys showing up and out on the rebound?
Well, we had guys blocking out. We had guys that were physical. When you're in zone, you're kind of all over the place. That's why a lot of coaches don't like to play zone, because you don't have direct block-out responsibilities. You got to go find somebody because you're flying around. So that's a big part of the game, because they're typically a team that pounds people in the glass.
You both, Chris and Philip, said you felt like you really needed this one. Does this feel like maybe a launching off point now for you guys?
Yeah, but like I look at it differently. Every game like this, every game when you watch in our league is like this. We just had one. We lost it. You watch the games today, Ohio State, Purdue. It's just the way it is. So you got to figure out a way to win some of them. And like Pat said, it's going to come down to, a lot of times your veteran guys and the decisions they make and how they help the young guys along.
One or two more.
What does this do confidence-wise? Because in 2 of the losses, I think Wisconsin and Penn State, you were down, came back, and then weren't able to complete it. But to be able to do it against this team, how does this help you confidence-wise?
Yeah, we got the Wisconsin game to overtime. We got the last possession and didn't score at Penn State. So being able to finish one off, and have sort of a jubilant locker room, I think is really important.
You go with Peyton to start the second half. That group plays, I believe, almost 12 minutes and ends up grabbing the lead. What did you like from that lineup?
I thought they played both ends. I thought they executed offensively. They were doing a lot of switching. They were physical. They're a physical half-court defensive team. And those guys just fought through. And it takes a lot of energy to continuously run motion, and then to press, and then to be active in the zone, and then to rebound both ends. So you're right, the 12, that's a long time, but I just felt like that group was really connected.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.